Yo, GM, what is up? Happy Sunday to all the GMers and the rejects and all my Clubhouse fam. Mr. Fun Guy here. I am still about 2 hours out from getting back home. Just crossed the border back into Minnesota. It was a beautiful weekend. I thought it was going to be raining the entire time. Originally we were supposed to be forecasted with storms and man, it was a little cloudy. It was a little sprinkly here and there once in a while. But honest to God, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome compared to what I expected. When it came to the weather. Sold some tie-dye. Yeah, people loved the artwork. Made some cool new friends. Shout out if, I don't know if anybody from the event, because I did talk. See, the crazy part is okay. I'm trying to get people on board. The problem is, I heard a statistic, some numbers the other day from, I want to say it was on the companion spaces last Wednesday, not last week there. About what Minnesota, in general, I know Minnesota's got about 5 million people, but all together in the U.S. it's 500,000 some users or wallet, crypto investors, something along those lines, wallet holders. I'm not sure exactly what it connects to, but there's not a lot of people that invest in the crypto market in the United States. And there's even less people at these festivals that understand a single word I'm talking about. I've talked to a couple coders, and they understand, what I'm talking about programming wise, but I know I've got family that know how to code, but they don't understand what I'm talking about. They understand what an RPG is, and the concepts of how I'm building my game, but they don't understand, as soon as I say NFT, it's their brain just oh, those things. No, I never really figured that out, or it's just never really I never really jumped into it. I never really that shit's right over my head. Nobody has really a clue what I'm explaining, the gallery, or what the gallery does, or what the Clubhouse is. A few people understand what Discord is, and they at least kind of get that I'm trying to do something with blockchain, and not have to worry about bots, and it's just all specifically Web3 specific, or catered to Web3. But man, so there's a few of these guys, they all love the art, and they all are fairly influential in their markets, their niche markets. There's a guy who does who runs his own, he's got a studio, and I'm not sure exactly if they're how many people they record with or whatever, but their band themselves is fucking amazing. And then there's another guy who he has a podcast or something along those lines. I forget, talk show. And he does photography and video work and whatnot. And yeah, I'm gonna be reaching out to him, and I think one of the things that I want to kind of start to partially focus on next is finding ways to interact and do walkthroughs for all my Web2 friends, all my in real life music festival, all the people that I've been meeting all over. This is my network, man. All these people that I've gotten to know real well and care about, they're good humans, and they have no idea what this technology can do. And it's really a lot like when MySpace first came out, and then Facebook. It's like, well, what the why do you need to put your pictures and like well, MySpace was fucking cool because it was all, it was super community. I feel like it was community oriented. Like, it was meant to showcase yourself and be you, and change your page however you want, and create something cool for that represented you. Facebook was a weird switch over. I remember when that went, when people started using it, and I didn't use it right away. I was still like, no, man, fucking, I got, Tom's my friend, I got fucking MySpace. But when people switched over, and like the whole concept of how Facebook kind of created that social, really, that truly took that social media aspect and created that level of bonding to people, and let people be able to keep in contact with each other that way. And whether it doesn't matter what state or this, that, or the other, is the first time people, outside of like instant messaging and a phone call, or email, shit like that, message boards, fucking Facebook was like, oh, this shit's like an actual platform. Is a lot more direct, and live updates, posts, share people, show people what you've been doing. That's before all that even got started. We had the whole infrastructure of Web 2 being built, and Web 1, like, you needed the all the connections, the protocol, HTTP protocols, the SSL certificates, all that shit needed to be, needed to work. People need, like, the servers to be able to pull the information, like original FTP servers and all that shit I used to set up back in the day. Like, that's where we are at with crypto right now, with the technology that we've got in blockchain. We haven't even begun. And if you guys, like, the majority of you people listening, the majority of you guys listening on X or in the Discord, obviously, are part of the project already, or in Web3 in some other shape and form. The biggest issue is trying to help people understand why they should use the technology. What's it about? Why? Like, is it gonna be fun? Is it gonna be helpful? Is it gonna make your life easier? Is it gonna save you money or make you money or whatever? Like, why? Is it gonna keep my interest? Is it like, so? These things, Facebook and all the TikTok, like, these things, they're like ADHD, fucking, it's almost like, they're almost like little digital drugs, right? Like, get your fix for scrolling, like, people, can't put their phone down at a meal sometimes. Like, it's bad for some people, but they designed phones and this and that specifically to, like, harness your attention, right? And this, that, and the other. What if a platform didn't take advantage of your brain's short-term side of stuff, right? For giving you your connection back and forth. But what if a platform gave you all the different dopamine rushes and this, that, and the other, but was fair play, was community based, was like actually incentivizes you to interact with other people and engage with the artists or the project, like the companies, the projects, the communities doing stuff and building, platforms, this, that, and the other, coming up with ideas and games, this, and all the different things that come around it, that encompass this, like the blockchain side of stuff. What if, instead of it just being about, click, 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 like loot box, I mean, no shade to loot boxes or the lottery stuff, like just all the gambling sites, or all that shit, like, no shade at all. People love that, right? But there's a lot of that in Web3, like in crypto, blockchain. That's pretty much what we have, because it's so easy to monetize it, and then we can, people can get their payouts, right? But what if it was actually fun? What if it wasn't about the money itself? What if it was about the experience? What if it was purposely built so it was all small dollar increments, like purposely set up so you can't spend your whole wallet in a minute. You know what I mean? Like this, like, what if it was anti-predatory purposely, and it gives the DJ, the gambler in you, a little bit of that rush, because you're able to play gamified raffles, or level up a character and go into a random a weighted battle with random winners, like, but you're not, you're not being incentive, you're you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not trying to put anybody else's stuff that they built down, because it's like, this shit's fun, and people made some really good products, and people really enjoyed. People made a lot of money. People lost a lot of money, but it's, like, they're building something that people can do with their tokens, their NFTs, this, that, and the other, the actual technology they're creating. And now I feel like it's time for a new step, right? And I mean, that's why I built the Clubhouse, specifically with community and utility, and breaking down as many barriers as I can for entry into the industry, giving people damn near free access to be able to connect their NFT token, whatever, to the platform and use it with very low fees, able to monetize it yourself, right? Like, not only am I able to make, like, my platform, my project will make money off of each transaction, but like, you're able to host your own raffles, and you're able to, low fees, and like 10% cut, and we'll, like, cross promote. It's not just like your own, like, only your community, only your page for your raffle. It's a system-wide raffle, and I've got so much built into this. I've got so much built into my little idle RPG game that I built. I got a whole token economy, right? And the goal, reward people with any NFT. Like, let them stake, like, register their NFT on my platform, and like, I'm gonna have to start once again, circling back, instead of rambling here for, going off on a little bit of a tangent. I apologize, but my plan is in between inviting new family from a new blockchain to the Clubhouse, because I'm about to push base chain live this week. Almost done with integration. I've been gone for 2 days, so I haven't had time to finish up. Otherwise, I would have been done yesterday. Easily by yesterday. I'm hoping by Tuesday, Wednesday latest. Maybe by tomorrow I'll be done with getting base integrated and push live, so I can test. there'll be 2 blockchains that I'll be able to offer instant utility and value and dollar-backed rewards for no cost out of the project's pocket, but maybe a couple dollars fill-out fee to submit the form. And the only reason why there's a fee for that to submit anything is so we don't get spammed with people just filling up my database. I mean, if they want to do that, then it'll cost them a couple bucks, and hey, like, oh well. But yeah, so what my thought is, I want to start hosting a live streamed event where I find a way to take questions, AMA type style, bring people up, I let them ask questions, have a conversation, find a way, you want to call in it, if you want to, I'll figure out a way to have people, join my chat, but even if I'm doing just X Spaces, or a live stream on Facebook, probably Facebook would be the better one to go about it, and then cross promote it to Twitter and everything else. But people need to understand, they need to learn. So what if it was just regular intro to crypto? Why does this matter? Do you want, it's time for people, with everything being on the balance sheets for all the different banks now, motherfuckers better start checking this shit out if they want to take advantage before when it goes higher, it's still not like you're not going to be able to or want to use, you're still going to want to use different tokens and stuff like that, but by the time people start waking up next year, maybe, shit's going to be 500,000 a freaking token, man. All it's going to take is a few more big companies to be like, oh, no, we want this on our balance sheets too, and they just decide to start holding it. If some of these are smart, they would take all their tokens that they if they go and pick up a few million or a few hundred million in Solana and Bitcoin, this, that, and the other, go to a freaking protocol and stake those, stake those fucking tokens and start getting yourself 8%. What the fuck? That's better than any standard savings account, and the fact that you already know the token value is just going to go up. I mean, some places you get a lot better than that, but put it to a validator, and you've got yourself a very stable, secure, safe house for your finances, and something for a long-term balance sheet, but people don't understand DeFi, and what if, someone was talking about getting a 20%, return on their ETFs, and there you go, fuck yeah, you're learning about ETFs. Next step, learn about the digital side of stuff, where the real crypto side of shit, where you can do anything you want. Some of these protocols, you can go through all the lending stuff and back and forth, and by the time it's all said and done, you're printing 35% because you've got your double stake. You switch out this token to get the equivalent of that, and then you stake it to this ecosystem, and and next thing you know, you're just rolling in freaking dividends. So really the next step, I think, is we're going to be, once base goes live, I'm going to onboard at least 1 or 2 new people to help out. As soon, and I'm going to let them know, hey, I can't pay you up front right this second, but as soon as money starts coming in from your efforts, the first motherfucking people that get paid will be you guys. you know, and that's the best. Like, I'm broke as a joke, you know. Like we sell tie dye. You can kind of see behind me maybe. We sell tie dye to try to get a little ahead. Pay that. Pay a little extra bills. It's I got 6 kids. I got I don't work at an actual job, and I've been building these platforms out of pocket and out of my own time for nothing in return yet. Everything has gone back into the project, right? So the people who have been investing in the rejects, the people who have been really stacking their bags and DCing the whole time, especially right now that we're the lowest price we've pretty much ever been in our entire project history. We minted at 0.042 Solana, but that was back when it was like $30. So we're 0.042 is what we minted at, and we're at 0.024 or something like that. So we're like half the freaking cost. They're like half the price we were when we minted. Which, like, and it's really because I don't push, like, people to buy shit. I'm a sales guy when it comes to, like, promoting other people's stuff, other artists, that kind of thing. I got a really tough time marketing my own self. And that's only because it's hard for me to brag. But right now, like, I can confidently, like, currently, I'm trying to get comfortable enough to confidently be able to brag that I have built, like, I'm first to market a entire industry changing platform. Nobody has built anything close to what I've built, and I believe it's a multi-billion-dollar concept. I believe this platform I was told by so many people it was gonna take so fucking long, and really it just takes grinding it out and really doing it myself. I did it myself. I didn't fucking have a team of 12 people and do this for 5 years. I had one developer who got about a third of the platform, a quarter of the platform done to where I've got it. It took him 2 years to do what I've done in a month and a half, and then the next month and a half I've pushed live 3 games. So along with that whole chat system overlay, and he's got tipping, it's got gifts. It works nice. On Solana's side, I'm finishing up base now, and that's really like one of the last things I got to do is finish connecting the games and the chat. We got all the token and NFT contracts taken care of. So, but yeah, so yeah, this is where my brain's been this weekend, you guys. There's one lady who a buddy of mine. I play my saxophone not very often. It's been a few years now, but I actually hung out and played with him and his band, New Elements, and they were funky as fuck. I wanted to play with them so bad, but I just didn't have the time. I just could not get the time together to properly play music with my friends. I got a bunch of kids. I got 6, and it's just even before that, 4 kids, 5 kids, whatever. It's tough to commit that amount of time when I'm the main. I got full-time work going on. I've got house stuff to do. I've got the the missus needs help, that kind of stuff. Like, I want to make sure that I gotta be there for my kids. They live with me full time now, and it's a lot. on all of us back and forth and whatnot, but for the festivals. But I can't just be gone doing gigs on top of the festivals. Like I'd be way in practices. Like, come on, you know what I mean? So anyway, I guess I don't. I guess I don't know where necessarily I was going with that, but I do enjoy being able to do these video updates during my drives. It helps me to kind of focus my brain. Because honest to God, while I'm doing this shit, half the time my head's just going and going and going, and I can't stop the thoughts. So being able to, info dump this into a video, like this, and kind of give people more of an insight into my thought process behind everything and plans behind it all. It's fun. It's fun for me. It helps. It really helps me kind of hone it in. But yeah. So I do think going around, starting like a regular, just understanding crypto type live stream, and being able to teach people about this stuff. Just do it for free. Give people free information, solid advice, understanding proper security procedures, and keep yourself safe online, and go to websites so you don't get all your money stolen from you, because it's still the fucking Wild West out there. But I've built platforms that are already set up for artists to monetize them, and I want to make sure that people are able to go through and use that properly and understand how it works, and then me cross promote their artwork for them and get people paid, because once people start using my gallery, you no longer have to ever claim your money ever again when selling artwork. It goes straight to your crypto wallet, right? Right now it's just Solana, but I'm building the whole crossover for the Clubhouse right now. It will not be difficult for me. Once I'm done doing the Clubhouse, it will not be very difficult for me to do a massive upgrade to the gallery and prepare the gallery for a huge coming of age celebration where I'd be able to push multiple chains live very quickly, very cheaply, and yeah, because I've already got one contract built. It wouldn't take very long for me to switch out the information, redeploy a new contract, minting contract for the artwork, and then bada bing, bada boom. That's just activating it on each chain, and at that point I could do that, and as fast as it takes me to push a couple dollars to each new wallet of my, each chain's wallet that I connect to, and I could really, and then I could turn it into pretty much damn near a chain. I'm over here fucking rambling again, but I could make it chain agnostic, put my own protocol in there so it doesn't matter, everything feels and looks the same, and then start reading the database to give you the ability to hang out and chat with your artists. Yeah, see, I'm thinking I might do something on the Clubhouse with giving artists an instant chat space, community chat, so that when they do that on the gallery, it populates over to the Clubhouse as well. So I'm thinking about doing that. Otherwise, the other way I'll go about it is just have the chat for the artists on the gallery, keep the platform more segmented, as far as just like, the usage and whatnot. But like, I don't have all the games and all the fun shit on the gallery. So, part of me is like, I can direct them to the Clubhouse, give people the ability to easily, do giveaways and stuff like that, and raffles for somebody else's artwork, NFT piece, this, that, and the other. And then while they're doing all that and checking out this and staking, soft staking their artwork for rejected tokens or base token, Clubhouse cred tokens, because you're going to be able to get cred very soon. I'm really excited about those tokenomics, because that is like, I want to say like 40%, 50%, I think I want to say like 50% of everything that comes into the other chains, 40%, maybe it's 40%, 30 or 40, but a big chunk of all the fees that come in go straight to the token value. So it goes straight towards building the liquidity pool, which is really exciting for me, because at that point, what people will be able to do is, as they're supporting artists and as they're playing the games and doing this, that, and the other across each chain, it'll pretty much build itself. It'll start to, the longer things go and the more people use it, no matter what, as long as people continue to want to support artists with this platform, there's nowhere for the value of the token and the NFTs to go but up. Because of how my system is built, even if people sell their stuff and the price goes down, it is literally a short-term thing. Impermanent loss is something I'll be teaching people about when it comes to what liquidity pools are about and how DeFi works. Because like, if you got guaranteed money that's going to be coming back each, drip, damn near weekly, daily, depends on the amount that I set for it to be worth to do, for my time. How often, how many people are doing stuff. Like, I won't do it for a few bucks. Protocol fees to be able to connect all that stuff together costs money. So, 1 second, I'm getting on the new road here. There we go. A little overburdened, so. All right. But anyway, I am like, this is why I'm so excited about like what's ahead for the rejects and GMers and the Clubhouse in general, and what I'm just trying to do in this industry. Because I know the concepts that I have are needed. They solve a lot of problems. Because I've told people in the past. I know I mentioned this, but one of my favorite things is creative problem solving. I know, what's the most difficult thing in life when you're trying to run a business, or especially like when you're starting your own company, or you're especially like a music vendor or musicians, or whatever, you're trying to, you're a programmer, this, that, or the other. It's like, you got to think of what happens when you hit a wall. What happens when you can't figure something out, or something continues to not work right? What do? Like, it's all fucking in the shitter, man. You pivot. Fucking pivot. Like, yeah, you can sit there and get pissed off because this shit just doesn't work no matter how many fucking times you try. Like, I've spent... check this out. Good example. Recently, with the base integration for the Clubhouse, one of the biggest things before I could push this live is I needed to get the NFT contract created to properly mint the rejected idle booster cards. Now, this runs on layer 2 of Ethereum. Like on Solana, which I've already done this for, there's already protocols that you can just use their code, and it's decently cheap. It's pennies to mint, an NFT, and you can build on top of it. And so there's minting platforms, launch pads is what they call them, that will let you easily plug and play your artwork and mint your NFTs, right? But the problem with that is they do charge you a solid fee to do so. Each time you mint an NFT, they're getting a good chunk of the pie. I want to say it's about a 100% markup when you for a free NFT mint, even on Launch My NFT, which, God bless them, they have done God's work and an amazing job building a community around helping people launch their projects. And they don't charge a lot. They don't have high fees. So don't get me wrong, but it's 0.009 or 8 Sol as their base minting fee for a compressed NFT. Now, there is a base NFT. I forget, CNFTs might have been 0.005 or something like that. So I can mint a compressed NFT for 0.0001 or some shit. So when I set my mints up, I can do 0.01 Sol for the mint on a compressed NFT, and they got their NFT now. But the what you call it? Launch My NFT. That same thing would have been 0.005. So I'm I can do it for 1/5, and I'm still I still make a little bit to cover some fees, and if people mint enough shit, then yeah, I made some money, cool. But I'm not pushing that kind of stuff, right? I'm not. I've never pushed that, but so those are the kind of that's how base EVM. It's even a smaller fraction of a cent than that. There is no charge for me at this point. I want to say it's for a core NFT, I want to say it's 0.0045 or something like that, or 0.0037. I forget with what I put into the contract exactly how much Sol it takes, and how much I charge people for just the base fee, but it's not much. It's just a few cents. All I know is by being able to push all that live across all these different chains, I'm about to be able to allow artists from anywhere that use any software or any of the tech to be able to monetize their own artwork and not have to freaking, I'm just trying to break down these borders. I forgot initially where I was going with that part of what I was saying to begin with, so I feel like I kind of trailed off towards the end of all that, but we're about to disrupt Web3. I am confident as fuck. I feel like I'm allowing allow myself to boldly say that the Clubhouse already has changed Web3 forever, and how people will be able to connect digitally and interact with each other using their digital assets forever. It's changed now. This concept is live. So really, in order for so I'm gonna circle back around. I got a few minutes still before I'm closer to home. Why not give you guys a little bit more of a breakdown on the future and why I'm playing the long game, or how I'm playing the long game, my plans, my vision for the long game. Because the way I see it is, I know, like, I have in the Clubhouse, I call this Web3's answer to Discord. So if I'm meaning for this to be the answer to Discord, to be able to handle, like, I don't know how many millions, tens of millions of users Discord has, right? But if I want to be able to scale to support millions of users, I have to have the proper infrastructure. I have to have an actual team. I can't be a solo dev. So, like, I know the Clubhouse isn't perfect. It's not, like, and like we're in live beta. And I'm guessing we'll be in live beta for a little bit longer until we get properly discovered. At that point, I'm going to be looking for a true investing partner, somebody who, you know, is looking to work with me on. Because, like, those of you who know my projects already know I built my tokenomics. There's already the plan for the value behind everything. Like, yeah, there's nothing legally keeping me, like, bound to this shit, right? But that doesn't fucking matter to me. Like, this is my, this is my baby. So before anything ever gets done, or whatever, before I ever I gotta get it incorporated outside the country and stuff. I want to make sure that it's all legit all the way out, and that I have legally the Clubhouse founders pass holders as the board of directors. I feel like there's I wonder if there has to be named people in that. I'd have to double check on all the specifics again. It's been a while since I've done the research on an S Corp or C Corp and all that shit, and how I'm going to want to do it, and how it works outside the country, all that shit. But like that's the direction I'm going. And like the biggest thing is I want to be able to still have the creative control to expand and build, but have the money backing to afford the team that is able to scale this out with me and actually make it like enterprise ready. I want this shit fucking, like, I want my encryptions properly set. I want this to be, full beyond, like, I want to create the industry standard in security and how this platform is built, Like, I want it to be able to fend off DDoS. I want it to be able to protect itself against malicious uploads and stuff like that properly. Like, I've got a good chunk built into that myself already. But I need professionals to help me with this. Like I'm not a professional developer. I'm not a professional coder. I am a determined motherfucker who learned all this shit in just over 9 months. And that's all I've been doing this for. I'm an IT guy, but I never understood code before January 3rd or 4th. And that's when I'm like, Chat GPT, teach me some shit. And like bang your head against the wall. It won't work. But that's where I was going with one of those stories. When you have to pivot, I was trying to build the NFT contract, and every time I minted NFTs using my contract, and it was testing it on testnet in development mode. I wasn't seeing all the metadata, the images. They weren't showing on the base scan and stuff. Like the the network page that I could see stuff was minting, but I wasn't seeing all the traits and whatnot. Like I don't know if this is working. And the fucked up part still is like, AI agents can do a lot, but they also don't know a lot. And unless you are there to understand a little bit more to correct them, to let them know, oh, no, you need to do it like this because of this. You should already know this by now. And like, oh, yeah, I apologize. I should know this because this is industry standard protocol, and I'll go ahead and implement this now for you. If you don't tell it that sometimes, it won't necessarily pick up on shit, and it will try to reinvent its own wheel with some complex, convoluted, silly bullshit code that has a ton of fucking errors, and you're having to go through and piece by piece fix it or tweak it. And so like AI, you really kind of get to, you may not know your code line by line and call by call all the time, but you do get the base understanding of what your code's doing, what's talking to what, where in the code, what calls are needed for what, how the structure's built, and then if you go through and you do your troubleshooting properly, you can go through and learn all this shit, and then it's like you come up with your idea, the thing makes your changes, and then you go through and you check the changes, you see what the changes did, and especially when it breaks the shit, how it breaks, that's how you know what the changes did wrong. And then it's like, okay, so now we got to figure out how these changes are supposed to be made so it doesn't break, or so it fixes this, and fixes this without breaking this because of a dependency issue with this software over here and a completely unrelated thing, but the software packages connect, and if you do this with this one and you call this one might get buggy, so you have to have a patch with this, like all this shit through you have to research this shit. So I was trying to figure out why the fuck my contract was doing this and why I wasn't able to see my metadata. I spent a week of time going through, I rewrote probably 30-40 different minting contracts for NFTs. I did so much research, deep dive on the how they're constructed, and it's all built in Solidity, so I was learning really about the I learned a lot about the structure of smart contract, EVM smart contracts, and which all that means is that's just layer 2 Ethereum. EVM is like there's multiple blockchains that are like forked off of the Ethereum blockchain, and it allows them to be able to have nothing for gas pretty much. It's almost free, and it's like the time is like instantaneous. Ridiculous how fast it is. So yeah, that's so the crazy part is pivot, right? Sometimes it's like, okay, let me try reaching out to somebody, because like I'm sick of thinking I'm almost there. I think I got it. Because a lot of times, I can grind something out after a few days, and if you really want to keep going, Like, you can bang your head against that wall, and you will eventually figure it out if you are persistent enough. Like, you have to be dedicated as fuck in order to be able to get past, some of these error loops you can get stuck in, especially when the fucking, you're learning all this shit and your AI agent makes some changes, breaks a bunch of other shit, or starts adding, a new file somewhere that you don't even realize, even though you're still paying attention to what it's creating. Sometimes, without even telling you, it'll add a new file and put all the code for that function there, even though you already had a code and a function for this page over here. But your front end, your platform's calling the old file. The new file is like this half-ass freaking thing with just like one little feature on it. No, that needed to be added to the old file. Delete this new silly file, add that code chunk to the old file over here, delete the old one, restart the development server, and let me test again, and I apologize so much, sorry for I completely messed up with that, I was supposed to add that to that like you told me to originally. And apologetically, it's that AI agent goes off and fucking 2 seconds later comes back and tells you to go ahead and try again, test it to see if it's taking care of the fixes for you. Like, it allows you to make sure that the code gets inserted to the right place, and the agent learns about your whole freaking repo, your entire project folder. The more it goes through, and it gets more and more used to working with your specific just your specific requests and stuff like that. It gets used to that. And I notice it gets better and better and better, and more and more often it's right, after one or two iterations versus, sometimes having to go over and over and over again. Very rarely do I get those issues unless I'm working with something brand new that I've never done before, and who knows, maybe that agent hasn't before either. So, or like that LLM, that large language model, Anthropic, who knows what people have built already, and I know for a fact nobody's built what I have. So it's just one of those things where if you're willing to pivot and you're willing to try, like, you can get really far and make some really cool shit. Well, that's kind of what I wanted to point out, and highlight is, like, it's not because I'm super experienced and or I'm horribly smart, and I'm just like a savant and I can understand all this shit, or I just know how it works. No, I do pick up on it quick, but besides picking up on it fast, it's really just persistence and sheer determination. I want this to work. I know it will. I've seen it. I've been dreaming, envisioning this platform being fully live for years. Using a Web3 version of Discord. For the last few years, I have been just manifesting what I envision this thing to be for the vibe, the feel, the front end, how it all looks and works, what it does, all the different features connected to it. And people like to slam on their brakes in the fast lane too, like the passing lane. That's the part that pisses me off, is when you're driving, you got two lanes, and the guy on the left is going like 5 miles an hour under the speed limit, and nobody's in front of him, and we come up to a turn, he's like, okay, I'm going to slow down some more. It's like, get out of this lane, dude. Like, why are you in this lane going neck and neck with the other cars next to you? Like, it's not what this lane's for. Oh God, that dude almost sideswiped that dude. Man. Some people's children. Anyway, so when it comes back to it all though, I want to help people understand this technology. And cool side note, for those of you who haven't heard the story about Mr. Fun Guy, it actually goes back to, I want to say like 2017, when I knew, when I moved downstairs to my basement, and after I found out that my wife had been lying to me for about a year, and she had been cheating on me, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, like, this is, I'm done. So instead of just getting really, really high and going doing a bunch of drugs, I went downstairs to my basement. I had built a beautiful man trip cave. And then my first house, I taught myself. I framed my very first 4 walls, electrical wiring. I did it all myself. Blacklight, RGB, drop ceiling, shade carpet. Beautiful, beautiful. Big old 8-foot beanbag. I painted the whole basement black. Ceiling, walls, and then blacklight, reflective paint. Yeah, fucking, sorry, the construction coming up here, so 1 second, guys. But yeah, I even painted a whole coffee table, and 8-foot beanbag and all that shit, and I go downstairs. That was my little trip cave, man. I go down there, eat my mushrooms, and brew my tea, and freaking smoke weed, and look at my art on the walls. And I painted a mural, a 15-foot mural on one side. I had paintings all the rest. I had little stars dotted on the ceiling. But yeah, so frame the wall, my old house, ex-wife. Mr. Fun Guy. So instead of going downstairs and just doing a whole bunch of coke and getting fucked up and diving into a bottle of depression, which I was already in. It was pretty fucking depressing. I had 4 kids at the time, and there's 4 kids at the time when I moved downstairs. My daughter was really, really young, my oldest daughter, and I busted out a little tiny canvas because I was managing artists, running an art collective. I called it Lit Legends in Time, and we had some big old fucking booth. And anyway, one of my buddies, I paid for all of his paint, I paid for all of his canvases, and then I'd pick him up, drop him off, buy all of his food and beer, and fucking smoke him up, get him some blowski, all that shit. Dude's still my best friend in the whole fucking world. You can see his art. If you're still watching this video, learning about what's going on, you can see Rob Munger's art at Munger Art on Facebook, or as one of my featured artists on the GalleryOnSoul.com. Yeah, the GalleryOnSoul.com. One of my favorite humans on the whole planet, man. Like, you wouldn't think, like, looking at this guy, like, he's got probably one of the fucking best hearts on the planet, man. He's one of the best fucking people, but he's come a long ways in life. He's had his own demons he's wrestled with and gotten through his own shit. And part of the reason why I'm so happy to support him is, he's gotten sober over the last few years, and I'll support the shit out of that, like getting sober, getting off that fucking that smack, that fucking that's fuck meth, dude. Like, he is. I'm happy for him. I love that dude. He is one of the best fucking people I've ever known. And But anyway, so what I did, I had an extra. I've been rambling. It's been a long weekend. I've only had about 9 hours of sleep, so you know, because it's Sunday afternoon now, noon, and I've been up since pretty much Thursday morning 8 a.m. So I've only had about 9 hours of sleep in between, and that's it. So yeah, no sleep Thursday, 5 hours Friday, and like 4 hours last night. But anyway, so I took this little canvas, and I have these fine liner pens, markers. I got them because I wanted to try it, just for shits and giggles. And I'd seen somebody doing like real intricate shit, and I don't like paint because it's messy. You can't go back and forth. I didn't want to mess with the paint. I didn't want to try to fuck with a paintbrush. I didn't feel like I had that much control over it, but I wanted to do some sketching and make something because I went back to school and taken a printing class, and I wanted to do some art, some line work, something trippy. Anyway, so I forget even what I was trying to make. I think I was trying to make an hourglass initially, and all of a sudden, like, it turned out to be kind of like a rabbit ear. And I kind of kept going. I made this dude's face and a neck, and kind of coming out with this silly body and some tentacles and silly arms, and so he looks like a rabbit monster squid, kind of like Ipkiss from Real Monsters, like especially with his mouth. Yeah. So I made this dude, and I did the black outline on it, initially, and with a Sharpie and whatnot. But it took me about 150 plus hours to like etch these tiny little ultra fine tip markers into this canvas. And some of these colors I got were like, I got like a whole pack of different variations of colors. So I was doing different shades and stuff like that, and throwing a white in or a dark or a purple into some blue, just to get texture. And I'd etch the color in and scrape the marker color in because it would blend a little bit for me, So I would spend hours just blending colors into this and creating like a gradient, a beautiful gradient, and trying to give it that shade, that dimension, that texture, because I've never done anything like that before my entire life, but I wanted to try it. So I made this cool little thing of him like splashing around in some toxic Nerf juice and DNA strands going up into a bunch of lotus leaf patterns in the background, and I didn't do anything with that for a while. I brought it to some festivals. I did some other artwork. I made the character a few more times, and I'm like, I like he looks like a Mr. Fun guy, because I've been into mushrooms for a very long time myself, and so I'm like, I've always joked about, I'm a fun guy, he's a fun guy, we're all fun guys, or just call me Mr. Fun Guy, or whatever. But I looked at this dude and I'm like, you are Mr. Fun Guy, you kind of came out of my vision of random trippy shit, and like more than just mushrooms, a little bit of acid and DMT too, but I mean, I've always had a real close connection to mushrooms, like mycelium and fungus, and the biological side of stuff, and the like all like, I love mycology. I love studying freaking like the mycelium and how it grows and everything. I loved that shit. It took until COVID hit, and when COVID hit, I had recently already been into NFTs a little bit. Maybe it was even before COVID hit. It was around that time. No, it was after COVID hit, because that's when I really started wanting to like teach people shit, right? Like, this is what's going on, and I honestly, I meant to do this whole AMA is like, a seminar shit, whatever, episode, something a long time ago. But I think my biggest issue is I don't have the time for the editing, the video editing. Like, that's insane what you got to do in order to get the videos snipped up and done. But anyway, so what I did was I started realizing, like, I got my first CryptoKitty, and I got a few of those. I had picked up Ethereum at $250, and I didn't sell any of it or swap any of it to go cross chain or whatever, or start doing stuff with it till it hit 1,750 or something like that. So I waited, right? And then I started learning about all these other blockchains and how everything worked. But what I was really interested though is like I learned how to use Adobe Creative Suite. There we go. So I used, like, between Photoshop and Character Creator and Illustrator, Character Creator, like a few of these different things. Plus there's the audio mixer or whatever, I forget the audio program's name. There's a I was gonna say Dreamweaver, not Visual Studio, but like the whole video creator, editor, all that shit, like all how it mixes. You're able to mix all the different layers together and shit. Like, what you can do with their whole suite is insane. So I spent, I want to say, 2 weeks learning how to do this shit in my spare time. I was, living back at my parents' house. This was after, after around the time I was going through the actual divorce. So this was maybe about a year or two after I had moved to my basement and created the Mr. Fun Guy character. I started wanting to actually, I added that as my name on Twitter. I started using Mr. Fun Guy as my persona, and I used my Mr. Fun Guy character as my profile picture. After that, that's when I started using NFTs for, I stopped using my own image. But I created my very first animated short 6-minute video, and it's pretty much Mr. Fun Guy starting in the middle of the screen, and he's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Mr. Fun Guy," and he, like, squiddle, goes back behind his desk. He's got a little talk show space that I designed myself and did all the artwork myself. Learned how to create the patterns and stuff, all, using different tutorials and shit. Like, very, very, very in-depth to learn how to make, use those effects and that software. Yeah, it was fun. What is Bitcoin? What is it? What is cryptocurrency? These are, these are blockchains. And this is, what AMM is, and what these the exchanges are. This is what the tokens do, and this is how they connect, and some base information, and then it's like, stay tuned for all sorts of more information. And honestly, I never had the time to go through and edit another massive video and create something that extensive on my own, because it was just a lot of fucking work, way too many hours. But I feel like pivot, using that concept, but in more of the live community aspect, the more engage with people, instead of trying to create content that people are needing to, or that I need to, like, snip, and cut together and stuff like that, and then publish just unedited live streams, and then allow people to jump up, ask questions. I can do all sorts of cross community promotions, with bringing people up, talk about what they built, and they'll like interact with their shit and show people how it works and why it's important. And like this is how and why it's like why we're doing this. And more of like that welcome to blockchain, intro to crypto. And I feel like once we can get to that point where people feel comfortable joining an event like that, and that's part of the reason why I'm thinking about doing it on Facebook, maybe making it into like a group, or even just a public thing that they can join and learn. It's been a while since I've used Facebook like that, or at all, besides Messenger. So, but anyway, as you can tell, I don't even know how many minutes I've gone on sitting there talking. Oh, we're at an hour and 10 minutes. Fuck yeah. See, I feel like if I could do this on a regular basis, once again, my issue is time. I could talk, I can explain stuff to people, but finding the time for me to be able to sit down and do that comfortably without it interfering with family and stuff like that, making sure my kids are able to still get my attention and get fed and all that shit, like it's just hard to be able to find that regular space. I'm thinking about doing something like at night during the week, twice a week, in the little bit later evening, where I can set up somewhere in my house and just do regular events. This guy pulls in front of this other dude in the fast lane and just like stepped on his brakes, and it refuses to go past the person that he started to pass up. It's like just silly shit. Drivers suck sometimes more than other times. But yeah, after this weekend, I guess part of my fragmented thoughts and everything, and the reason why I gone down this level of a rabbit hole in this direction, as far as the wanting to help teach people on like properly onboard one by one type shit, is I'm talking to all these different people at the festival. Not a single person understood more than Bitcoin. One person had heard of Ethereum. A couple people understood Bitcoin blockchain. They understood blockchain. They didn't understand what it does, or beyond token or NFT. Like it's like their eyes gloss over almost. It's like oh, this is too technologically crazy for me. And like, oh man, it makes me feel bad, because it's like it's not as complicated as it feels right up front. Definitely not as complicated as it used to be when you had to add your chain to the freaking wallet properly so you could access shit. Like add each token that you wanted to buy if you were fucking with DeFi, and you had it was wild west. It still is. About 500,000 people in the United States have active wallets or some shit, use crypto, invest or whatever, and 500,000 people. We got 5 million just in Minnesota alone. That's, if it was 500,000 in Minnesota, I mean, okay, like that's like 10% of the people you talk to would be investors. Some aspect understanding the technology. Nope. It's 1/50th of that. Because we got 10%, but That's just 10% of the nation. That's just 10% of the nation. That would be 10% of the state. There's 51. There's 50 states. I don't want to say 51. There's 50 states. Like, it blows my mind how fucking early it is for this technology still. And then I remind myself, whenever I start to feel a little bummed because people don't pay attention to my project yet, what I built, my floor price is still super low, and my token price isn't being paid attention. That's totally, you know what? From day one, rule number one, fuck the floor price. Like, it's not about the floor price, it's about the vibe, it's about what we want to create, it's about our vision. And we didn't know what the vision was at that time. By now, I have to find the fuck out of it. And I mean, it's one of those things where if you don't speak it and work for it and continually do it. I was having this conversation with a new friend this weekend. Manifesting, I mean, dream boards and shit. Oh yeah. It's helpful to see what you want for your future far out, right? Yeah. But what are you actively doing each day to obtain those dreams? That's the whole other side of having a goal. Is you can, like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do this, or man, when I'm by the time I'm 30, I want to be, I want to have a family and be working my dream job. I don't know what that is yet though, but I want to have a house here or there. I want to do this, or I want to be this kind of, a music singer or whatever. Who the fuck knows, right? But if you want to be successful and obtain those dreams and manifest those into a reality for yourself, you can. But you have to work at it. Every once in a while, somebody gets discovered. They get, fame or whatever thrust on them by accident because, whoever showed up and they like, you got that little kid, whatever, But otherwise, really, for everybody else who doesn't get just magically picked out of thin air like a random lotto like that, you have to make your own reality yourself. Nobody is going to obtain your dreams for you. No one's going to give you, the end result, but without trying hard for it to begin with. Unless, once again, the extenuating circumstances where, you win that rando lottery of somebody discovering you or whatever, or being born with a parent, already in an industry or something, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. Then yeah, like freaking so-and-so's kid will probably follow in their footsteps, or at least have, the end for anything else that he wants to do, and then the money to pay for it. Shaq's doing that side of shit right. Good for Shaq. Making his kids earn their own stuff, so. But yeah, we are early, and when it comes to this technology, people should be able to use it, monetize it for themselves, win, earn, have fun, not go to this on a regular basis and become more of a really bad, not even just a habit, but like an addiction, to the point where, they're spending more money than they're supposed to. And you can say gamble responsibly, but tell an addict just to only smoke a little crack, like just a little crack. Don't do all the crack, just a little bit. Or don't do all the cocaine, just do one solid ripper. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, don't do 2 more solid rippers, just do 1 more solid ripper because that first ripper was so good. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and, tell an addict to go ahead and do that responsibly. Gamble responsibly. That's like telling your friend who, like, it sucks when you got a buddy or friend that's one of my best friends, for a long time, and she'd sit there and I can't even hang out with her anymore. She just sits there and just drinks herself into oblivion before noon. My cousin used to do that shit too. And like by the time they're at that point where their eyes have glossed over and they're blacked out again, like they're just fucking assholes. They treat people like shit. They're meanest human beings on the planet. And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't remember. I'd never do that on purpose. And fuck that shit. No, that's like putting a bottle of whiskey in front of your loved one that has shit like that going on and being like, just do this responsibly. Let's just do this responsibly. Some people don't know what that means. So, anyway, that's part of the reason why I don't have really any casino type games on the Clubhouse. That's why I haven't built a straight up coin flip or anything like that. Because honestly, I don't want to get hit with gambling. I'd rather gamify stuff, make it an enclosed ecosystem where people can use actual, full dollar back, Solana stuff and stuff like that and whatnot to wager for an event, but their chances improve if they're playing the game. So it's all gamified and then sent off. So I don't know. I feel like we've got enough betting things, enough gambling platforms, but we don't have something that gives you a little bit of that, but more focuses on having fun, connecting with the community, connecting with all the people around it, that kind of stuff. Like, that's why I built the chat overlay. So, you're able to talk to your community and engage with them while you're playing the games or engaging in a Rumbles or a raffle, or a mint or this, that, or the other. So, but I think that's about it. I'm gonna let my brain chill on it after that. I feel like I got a good amount of ideas out. For those of you still paying attention and part of all the communities and projects that I've got this week, here's your alpha for the week. What's coming up on the Clubhouse Daily? We've got Base Network's Base Chain's gonna go live as soon as I can. I'm also around the same time, I'm gonna be reskinning the Only Dads platform, and I'm going to be building it out for our good fam and friends and family over at the Unify side of things. Oh shit. You know what? That's okay. If you have listened this far, don't tell anybody else, because it's not live yet, nothing's been announced, and I probably shouldn't have given that little bit of I'm so used to just fucking dropping all my alpha, I forgot. I wasn't going to say anything about that, so mum's the word. John Z, maybe World Boss, or a couple other people might go and watch this fully. Those of you who do, you guys know, I probably know you by now. So yeah, just keep that keep that shush for a little bit. It's going to be my first full cross system partnership, where I'll get everything built out for them, and I'll perfect it the rest of the way. So I'll probably perfect it first for the dad's side, and then reskin it real quick, and then I'll be able to pretty much give them that white label experience. Split it 50-50, something like that. See what they're down for. If they're down for like 70-30, or if they want 50-50 to promote it. I don't know. I'll have to see what a good ambassador percentage would be. Because I'm not charging them anything up front to do that for them. So maybe I'll see what they got going on with the companions and those guys, perhaps. But anyway, that's going to be fun. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And honestly, that's going to allow me to be able to, if that starts to, put money out, I'm going to do a little bit of something for, I don't know if it's going to be for the dads or not. Honestly, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with Only Dads. How I'm going to do anything with that. I'm not sure. Haven't fully decided, because it's been, community's not there, and I couldn't get people to use the platform unless they wanted. Like, one guy, two people started to do stuff on there, and that was it. So I'd like to really be able to allow people to monetize shit and really do something cool. So we'll see what I can do. Let me think. So we're working on that. That hopefully won't be a huge ordeal. My thought is I'll be doing a little break, after the Clubhouse gets pushed to base. I'll take a small break on the Clubhouse, finish up the little cleanup tweaks on the meme generator, and then I'll do the same thing with the gallery real fast. Take a day per each one, and then come back around, do some real good cleanup on the Clubhouse, and then start putting together the foundation for the Rejected Empire MMORPG. So that's there's a lot before that, but a lot might only be a week, and it's pretty quick to be able to rock out a bunch of token contracts, record it all, and then freaking just deploy that code. I mean, it's really as simple as setting up one resource, and then I connect all the other resources, and then build a whole mining concept and crafting concept. And I've already got a burning system, so it's really easy to burn. But anyway, so that's where we're at. We've got a lot coming up, and I'm really hoping through some extra marketing that I'll be doing Facebook side. Hopefully talking to a few people, maybe even talking to trying to get a meeting with the CEO or the founder of Base Chain. So we'll see. Minnesota Blockchain Initiative, that's brand new, and they just opened the Minnesota chapter, and Like, I'm over here like, how do I get involved? I want in, let me in. So anyway, thanks for hanging out today with me. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. It's been a good weekend. I had a really good time getting to network with people and use some fam as a sounding board. A lot of people really like the concepts. They just don't understand how it works and how it would work for them or apply to them or help them. You know what I mean? How it would give them value. And like, I get it. That's legit. Like, how does this help me? Like, this makes no fucking sense. And it doesn't help when you get like, South Park and stuff like that, where they're just, making fun of NFTs and the technology, because, like, you get the crypto bros or just the silly, stupid mints that make a lot of stupid fucking money, and why, But with that, I'm Mr. Fun Guy. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. And, stay tuned to more videos in the future, I think. I'll have to do a little bit more engagement with people and give a little bit more of a personalized introduction to different technologies and allow people to really deep dive and learn what interests them. So, much love, everybody. Peace.